Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
All right, welcome back, everyone, folks, people around the world, to the Gritcast. This is episode number 4. We have a lot to talk about today, mainly NHL gameplay related, as our backgrounds show. Very, very nice looking.
Watch the video podcast.
We got on my left in the Zoom screen, we got artificial intelligence. Below me in the Zoom screen, we have community feedback. So welcome to the podcast, guys. Welcome back. Also known as Darius and Matt.
Thanks for having me, Strategies.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know what?
Thanks,
no worries,
Straps.
bro. No worries, bro. You know me. I'm always like, trying to provide something new to the game, with my strategies.
That's right.
Anyway, we're going to quickly run through some league headlines that some we missed last episode. A couple of new signings happened, which we'll talk about. And then we're going to spend the bulk of this podcast talking about the trailer. There was a short trailer last week. We got a longer gameplay trailer today. And then in the next episode, we'll probably talk about how I feel about the beta, if I get sent my beta code. Anyway, first things first, really quickly, Phil Kessel. He signed a contract right after we talked about it, literally the same night, with the Vegas Golden Knights, $1.5 million for 1 year. He is looking to break the Iron Man streak held by Keith Yandel. He can tie it against the Leafs, which is pretty funny. That's pretty cool. And then, 1.5 for 1 million. I think the guy had almost 60 points last year in Arizona. So, Matt, what do you think of the signing?
It was surprising. I thought they would just sign me, in like buffet credits instead of giving him actual money because it's Vegas, right? But for Vegas, it's a low risk signing. You can't really go wrong with a player like him. Like you said, he put up points last year, and I think he could supply some of that veteran presence to guys like Nolan Patrick and Eichel on the team.
Hot dog vendors in Vegas are going to be eating well this season.
not just the vendors, but the casino buffets in Vegas are apparently pretty top notch. Nice. So you can't go wrong there.
No, I'm just kidding. But I love Phil, man. Phil was one of my favorite players growing up. But this is a great deal for Vegas, mostly because they have no money. So he took very little money. He scored 60 points on not a great team last year. I think it was 60 points, something like that. He didn't score much, but he had a lot of assists. So
it was like 8 goals and like 52 assists or something.
Yeah, but on Vegas, he should produce more goals-wise, I mean. But, it's a good signing for them. Good signing for him. I feel like he almost did it on purpose because of the Iron Man stuff, because he breaks it against Arizona and he ties it against the Leafs. Like, that couldn't have been more he did that shit on purpose. So he took, I think... Yeah, exactly. Probably not. Vegas is a good spot for him. I think he'll do well, and it's going to be weird seeing him with the number 8. That's for sure. But
I agree with you. So
that'd be really weird.
Vegas, they're dealing with a ton of injuries, and they always do. Matt said playing with Nolan Patrick. I don't think he's playing this season.
Who is playing for Vegas this year?
Not Robin Lehner, which we'll get to. It's cool signing. I don't really have too much to say about it. Like, getting a guy who scored 60 points on one of the worst teams in the league by a mile is pretty good, I'd say. He's going to be solid. I like that he gets a chance to play possibly with Eichel or even like a William Karlsson. Maybe like Chandler Stevenson's not too bad. So that's pretty.
Their power play is like Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Phil Kessel, probably. Like, I'd put Kessel on that power play. And who else? And
they have a lot of... They got Marchessault, Riley Smith, Shea Theodore, all those guys. They're always gonna be solid. It's just like, we'll get to it now. Apparently they were gonna roll with they had a Laurent Brossoit, Logan Thompson tandem that they were gonna roll with. But yesterday they traded a 4th for Aiden Hill, who was in San Jose last year. I saw a tweet that was like a year ago San Jose traded a 2nd for Aiden Hill, and then now they had to trade him away for a 4th, which is kind of funny asset management. But like, I guess they thought Aiden Hill, I believe he was in Arizona before San Jose. Can't really remember. But
I think he was. Yeah.
But like, I think they saw him that a guy that could be like a 1A, 1B, but he just wasn't that good. So Vegas is trying to get some insurance there because Robin Lehner's going to be out for a while. So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do with this tandem. Like, they have a lot of depth, but I don't know how their goalies are going to fare.
Yeah, Thompson had a really strong end to the season last year because I think when Vegas was trying to sneak into that second wild card spot, they just didn't give him any help because I think it was the 3 shootout games and they went 0 for 15 in all 3 shootouts. You can see Thompson was just crushed, but it really wasn't his fault. So a little more help could probably get the Knights farther this year than last year.
I think it's another thing with like the goalies they don't have much experience. So even if Hill is not an amazing goalie, at least he has the experience that he can give to someone like Thompson, I guess, because Thompson's a younger goalie, I think, and he's obviously a prospect like coming up whatnot. So I don't think they signed him to be a starter even, maybe just a backup or just like an experienced guy to have them there to give the young guys some help.
It was more so insurance. It was just an insurance move.
That too, because if one of those goalies go down, then they're really in trouble. Like they already don't have a good tandem, and if one of those guys go down, like you're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for that. Couple more extensions. Filip Zadina finally got his extension with Detroit. I think what was he, a former 3rd or 4th overall pick? Or was he? I don't remember. I think
he was top 5.
Yeah, but I remember he fell.
Pick.
I remember he fell. Because Montreal didn't select him, so then he fell there. But yeah, he hasn't really done much in his NHL career. He got $1.825 million for 3 years, and I like that extension. It's really low, so it's not hard to like move off of or throw in the minors if he's like doesn't become what Detroit thinks he will be, and then 3 years is cool as well.
It's good for Detroit because they're not paying him much, and it's good for him because he's not being thrown away either. Yeah, because he hasn't been like a top guy, right? So I think
it's more of a low risk prove it deal.
Yeah,
but
it's nice that he stays in the league, right? He's not being thrown around, traded, or like minors and stuff. So good for him.
He'll get a chance in Detroit just because like they have no players. I mean, they signed a few forwards, but like they got Andrew Kopp and David Perron, but he'll be there. He saw. I really liked him into the draft. Nasty release was one of his main things, so I hope he can kind of like. I've seen it in the NHL too. Like when I'm watching like Detroit, Toronto games, and they're on the power play, like that guy's release is really good. Maybe there's something there. So
I covered a top prospects game that he was in, and I was there like behind the scenes, so I saw him like in the morning warm up and stuff, and his shot is stupid, even at that age. So like, if he can like put it all together, and I think maybe he can now that Detroit actually has a team, actually has players. I think it can turn out really nice for him. Like the potential's there. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing with most young players is, in junior they have a sick release and their foot speed isn't up to NHL standards, but they got by with it in juniors, so sometimes that doesn't really catch up to them. Mm-hmm. But with Zadina, you never know. 3-year deal. It's not too long, but it's also not too short where you can't, You can get rid of it if you absolutely have to, but Yzerman, is just a prove it deal, like I said earlier.
Yeah, for sure. And last week we didn't talk about this, so we'll gloss over it quickly. Lou Lamoriello did his usual thing where he doesn't say anything for 3 months, and then he announces 5 signings. Noah Dobson got a $4 million extension for 3 years, which I really like. I thought they were going to give him more money, more term, because he's really good. And Alexander Romanov, who they traded for the draft with Montreal, got a $2.5 million AAV, also for 3 years, I believe. So 2 good defensive signings there. I like this for the Islanders. Dobson, I'm a huge fan of. I think he's going to be really good. And it's a bridge deal, so I think he might command more at the end of 3 years. But as they say, that's a problem for 3 years down the line. Romanov, 3 years, he's just a steady defenseman. I don't really have too much to say about these guys. Like just decent work from Lamoriello.
Romanov is a good young defenseman. And to get him for 2.5 is good. Like he's a serviceable defenseman. And he's young too, so he can develop into something. And same with Dobson. Like that screams, like he's gonna get a payday at the end of that. Like that's gonna be his big contract after the 3 years. 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Dobson contract because it gives the Oilers a nice comparable for Bouchard. In that particular draft, if we didn't get Bouchard, I would prefer Dobson. And watching the two of them. Besides Bouchard's, ridiculous shot, I like both of their play styles. Nice young defensemen, not ridiculously flashy, but they're also not stapled to the bench, and they don't weigh the rest of the defense core down. So hopefully that bodes things well for Evan Bouchard when at the end of this year the Oilers eventually have to re-sign him.
Yeah, for sure.
Way to
yeah,
make it
one
about
thing
the Oilers, Matt.
one thing I do want to say is though, like I don't like the Lou Morello thing about like not saying anything. It's getting kind of annoying. Like I used to find it funny.
Oh, it's very
now,
annoying.
like, yeah, because like imagine like I feel bad for people that like work like actually in the media, and then they have to like they're like okay like we're off now for like these 2 weeks that they get in August, and then Morello's like all right, here you go, here's like 2 signings that you guys have to like get back on your phones and talk about or like write an article about or something. So
After
I mean,
like working but not having anything to talk about.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
the Mets were pretty good this summer, so it's not like New York didn't have like nothing to talk about.
I mean Kevin Durant too, right? So it
Yeah, what a,
definitely
yeah.
wasn't boring over there. Definitely wasn't boring over there.
Kevin
Before we
Durant, get rid of everyone. The Nets were like, nah, and he was like, you know what,
Okay.
I'll stay.
I'll stay.
True.
One thing I do want to talk about before we get to the Mike Sullivan extension is the Rasmus Sandin stalemate that's happening for some reason. There was like a report coming out today that like or yesterday that like he might even be signed before training camp, which to me is weird. I don't know what leverage. Like, so don't get me wrong, I'm very high on Sandin. I think he's gonna be a really slick, really good player. But I don't know what his leverage is because like he's barely played. Like it feels like anytime he's played like in the top 4, he's got kind of shelled. So like I don't know what his leverage is here or how much money he wants. So I don't know really what the holdup is here. The Leafs also don't have too much cap room, but you can make cap room pretty easily. There's a lot of ways to do that. So I really don't know what the holdup is here. Like genuinely,
he's asking for something he's not worth. And like you said, every time he's in the top 4, he doesn't look like he belongs. Like truthfully, he doesn't, right? He can show off his skill set on the third pairing, and he looks great, and everyone's like, wow, this guy's going to be something. But when he's put into a situation where it matters, in a position that matters, like he hasn't really proved much in my eyes. And he's asking for way too much than what he's worth. And I think, personally, he's going to miss a month, and then they're going to get together again. And they're going to be like, let's not do the Nylander thing. And he's like, all right, let's get a deal done. And I think they're going to meet like somewhere in the middle.
Fair. I think that one thing I was talking about with a couple of my buddies is like he can just sign a 1-year deal and then he's eligible for arbitration. So like why not just do that? I don't know. But yeah, other than that, just before we start recording, the Penguins gave Mike Sullivan a 3-year extension. The Penguins are like really leaning into this. We were talking about this before. Like Darius, like, well, they're just gonna ride off to the sunset with like their old guys, not really worry about what's gonna happen after. I hope that doesn't turn into like a Blackhawks situation, like where they just kept all the old guys and then they just like got really old and started to suck. But I think that's a little bit different because like, I feel like the Blackhawks players were already like really really old. Not to say the Penguins aren't like pretty old. Like Chris Letang is up there in age.
Yeah, like Duncan Keith was like a lot older, and Brent Seabrook than like Chris Letang is, right? So like, yeah, it's not the best comparable, but like 3 years down the line, it's gonna be like, all right, like I don't know if we can win a cup with these guys.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Hextall's long-term plan is. Like the prospects to begin, or the Penguins don't have the best prospect pool to begin with because in the midst of the cup windows, they just threw draft picks at everybody to gain assets. And looking at their farm teams and who they have in the system, it's nothing really you can write home about. So I have no idea what they're going to do once Sid, Malkin, and Letang all retire. And say, well, what are we trying to do here?
It kind of like smells the same as Chicago, where they're going to be
exactly.
like, look at all these cups we won and these guys and jersey sales, and we're going to change our jerseys. And watch, in 2 years, they'll change their jersey design. Or they're going to have to because Adidas is dropping the thing. See?
Oh,
they're smart. They're smart.
That's true.
They could just keep the same template.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll just be like, new jerseys.
New jerseys with new logos slapped on them.
Exactly.
$300, buy them, and I'll buy one.
Crazy.
So.
But yeah, I think they're definitely like riding these guys off into the sunset, and they're gonna be like, these are the superstars you've known and loved since you were kids. Most of you fans, and we suck now, but who cares? Because Crosby. But
nostalgia.
I think like their prospects, it's like Philip Hollander. They have Samuel Poulin. Those guys don't seem to project as like major impact NHL players. They have Pierre Oliver Joseph, who I'm like pretty decent fan of. I was a big fan of Kalen Addison before they traded him for Jason Zucker. Mm-hmm. And now like Zucker's like like he's had a lot of injuries, but he's really good if he's healthy. I think they also have forgot that guy's name. I think it's Casper Bjorkquist. I don't really remember.
I just got his Young Guns card. I think it's Bjorkqvist.
Yeah, Cabbage Bjorkquist. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know what he projects to be. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're probably still like very easily a playoff team because they still have like the compliments of like Brian Rust and Jake Gensel there, and like those guys are still young.
They can still be they're still going to be a playoff team, I think, next year, right?
Yeah,
but it's just
easily,
I think they're done with the like Stanley Cup pedigree stuff. I think last year was their last hurrah at that.
Or even like in the bubble too, when they lost to Montreal, that was their sort of plateau. It's like, okay, lose to an underachiever.
It's hard to blame the bubble though, because a lot of teams checked out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington
was like hot tubs.
Yeah.
We're here for that.
And then I read a stat that like the Penguins haven't won. Okay, I know like this is bright coming from a Leafs fan, but they haven't won a round since their last cup. Like they haven't won. Like they've been out in the first round each time. So,
yeah, I know. Which is
and they're
something to think about. But again, as a Leaf fan, you're going to be ridiculed because the Leafs haven't made it past the first round since I was in grade 3. But
I'm saying this as like a hockey fan, not a Leafs fan. Like, not everything's about like, oh, but this and this. I'm literally just, I'm saying something I read on Twitter. So, don't get too mad at me, TikTok. Anyway.
No, that's true. It's a good point. Like, if they haven't won a round since they last won a cup, like, maybe something isn't working anymore. But anyway, they're going to ride those guys until they're done.
And there was also their sweep, too, that was overshadowed by Columbus sweeping Tampa. Everybody forgets that the Islanders swept the Pens.
Them, right.
Islanders a good team, though. They were, like, those years.
We're a good team.
Yeah, those years. They were a very good team, so...
They were like it's crazy how good they were, and they're still underrated by like the masses. I feel like because like they never had like that guy.
They don't have a star. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Mike Sullivan. I think Mike Sullivan's a pretty good coach, so that's good for them. We'll see what happens in the next 2-3 years. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the rest of the podcast. So the NHL 23 trailer. We had 2 gameplay trailers since we last talked to you guys. One was a shorter one that was kind of like the reveal trailer, I guess. And then we had the gameplay trailer today. So because we're all here for fun. Darius, what did you think?
It's like that, huh? I have like a lot of issues, and I feel like most of them, like I can't just like give you a whole spiel.
Not to quote
Kawhi Leonard. But I guess I could. But like I think as we go through certain things together, like we're gonna have a whole conversation about this for the rest of the pod, I'm sure. There's just a lot of things that, like, it's not that I'm pissed that they're in the game. It's just that they're using certain things as marketing, like, tools, I guess. Mm-hmm. And things that they're marketing that are in the game that shouldn't be, like, the selling points for the game.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, the Michigan, again, they're really pushing that hard. And I've never... How many games did we play in EASHL, because that's how you pronounce it, this year?
I think 800?
Like, 800. I, like... Pick and choose, like not all of us played all of them, whatever.
Yeah.
Did any of us ever see a Michigan even attempted? Because for me, no.
I mean, I've attempted them personally.
In blowout games, yep.
Yeah. Sure, in blowout games.
But
can your guy even pick up the puck, right?
No.
Exactly.
It's not a play that's going to work out for your team. So it's not worth doing.
No.
And if I should play drop-in, but like I have like a functioning brain, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe I would just go do lacrosse goals for like a whole period. But I enjoy living, so I'm not gonna play drop-in.
Yeah, and one thing that just came to mind because I was like, they dropped a trailer earlier on Twitter, and somebody was like, "Oh hey, I know that the beta drops today, and I forgot to sign up. But as somebody that buys all these hut packs, couldn't you give me a code?" And he puts a video of, I wish I had the guy's Twitter, of like him scrolling through his purchase history and just $90 packs. Like one after another. And I'm like, do you not realize that you yourself are the issue as to why they don't give a shit about this game anymore? It's all HUD. It's all the microtransactions.
Yeah, pretty much just enabling them. It's like, hey, I don't care what kind of product you make, but you have a monopoly, so have my money.
Yeah, exactly. And like, there's just a lot with this year's game specifically. Like, I think last year. So last year, I didn't like a lot of the things that they marketed as well. And I was like, the Svechnikov thing, or the Michigan, is stupid because nobody's going to be able to do it. And that happened, right? But I thought like the physics and stuff that they were starting to introduce, I'm like, this is cool because this is more like real hockey, right? Because if you think about 20 or even 21, it was still kind of like, I'll use the word like sticky, right? Like everyone's in an animation kind of thing. Like this year was a little bit different. With 23, they're like, their main selling point is crossplay. Most games, it's a given. It's part of the game. And in this year's game, crossplay is like, buy our game because we have crossplay now. Like, how does that make sense? And it's not even real crossplay.
No,
it's
man.
not even real crossplay. You can't play. They're like, crossplay's here. But if you have a friend on Xbox, and let's say you have a PS5 or vice versa, you can't play with your friend. You can only play against your friend. What does that actually do?
And you also you can't invite them either. Like, you can't invite them.
Yeah, so you just have to be able to get lucky to match up with. So it's really like fake crossplay. It's embarrassing to even call it crossplay. They should come up with like its own name because it's not.
I think the word they used specifically was cross-platform matchmaking.
That's it.
Yeah, they had a whole chart saying like, oh, you're confused about you're confused about crossplay. Here's what you can do, and it just made it look more sad. It's like
here's the thing about
you can tell us that we cannot play with like Xbox Series X or S or whatever the new Xboxes are. We can play against them, but what disables you from allowing us to play with them? Like the technology is there. Like with
we see
bro,
it.
bro.
It's confusing.
Oh my God. Why can't I play with someone on the PS4? Why can't I do that?
Lost in all of this.
Why can't I do that?
Lost in all of the whole like you can't play with people on Xbox Series X is why can't I play with somebody on PS4? Because all my friends are obviously on PlayStation.
We're still using a PlayStation console.
We're still using the PlayStation console, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, the technology is not there for 9 years."
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What?
because I remember when I was playing Call of Duty with my friend when we rolled on the PS4.
Yeah.
And I got the PS5, and I got the PS5 version of Black Ops Cold War, and we could still play together. I didn't have to play the PS4 version because I paid for the PS5 version. Yes. I want to play the new graphics and all that shit, that cool stuff. But I also want to play with my friends who don't have the new generation.
And this looks horrible on EA. In addition to the whole like it. On top of it, they're like, hey, it's coming out in November because we thought about this too late, even though you've been screaming at us for 2 years, which is awful. I forget my point now. There's too much to remember. I'm like, I keep looking over at my notes and I'm like, I know we're going to go through things, but I'm like all over the map trying to remember certain things. But it looks awful because like PS5s are so expensive now. Like they're going up. They're going up.
They went up. Yeah.
And they're making less of them.
Newest victim.
And they're making less of them. So if it was hard to get one before, it's going to be harder because they're making less of them and they're more expensive. And you're separating us even more from those on PS4, where you should be bringing everyone together, which is the whole freaking tagline of this game. Hockey's better together.
Yeah, okay.
Not true. Hockey's better together as long as you have a next-gen console and all of your friends are on the next-gen console.
Yeah, like the only way to get a next-gen console is if you have like tweet notifications for like those bots that tell you, hey, Amazon's dropping at 3:40 a.m. If you're not up, then you've lost out on them.
Yes.
So
there's just
speaking from a PS5 owner that did exactly that. Yes. But it's just you got to jump through hoops just to get a next-gen console, and with no cross-play, you're just sort of eliminating your player base. And I don't play Hut, but I know with Hut, the crossplay, that doesn't mean like the auction houses for Hockey Ultimate Team are mixed either. It's also console based, and that just kind of makes the market a whole lot smaller than it needs to be. There's no reason why it should just be limited to that one console.
I wish I had more examples too, because like Matt brought up, they're using, I think actually maybe Nick said it, they're using that word, cross-platform matchmaking, right? Yeah. And they'll say that and you see it and you're like, crossplay. That's awesome, right?
Sick.
I see this in Fortnite. Sick. This is sick, right? But they use these words and they twist them so it's specifically what it is, right? But the way they make it sound is like this great thing, crossplay. And they've
That's
done
just
it.
good marketing. That's just good marketing.
Exactly,
Though.
but they've done it for years. And I wish I had an example, but they'll use these specific words that you're like, oh, this is awesome. Like new goalie animations, but it's not really, right? They'll use these words and it's good marketing. It is, because like somebody who doesn't play it as much as you or I will look at that and be like, this is dope. But it's
like they'll put crossplay on the cover, and then there's an asterisk, and then on the back, that's all the fine print. Well, it's not actually really crossplay. We just got you. We already got your money.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot.
And the asterisk is
Enjoy
on the
your
back.
game.
It's on the back of the game cover, which nobody buys anymore. So like, there's just a lot. Have they done good things with the game? Yes. After watching the gameplay trailer today, especially, like I feel like there's things that they fixed that like are like okay, but did we ask for them? No, and they've completely ignored the things we did ask for.
For NHL, sorry, Nick, for NHL, it's not like they need to make these brand new changes. Hockey, simple sport. You don't need to reinvent the wheel each year. You just need to make the smaller tweaks and then just keep building off of them. There's absolutely no reason to say, oh, we're reinventing hockey. There's gonna be brand new modes. It's like, no, you don't need to make brand new modes. Just give us what we have, but just make the smaller tweaks on a year by year basis.
But make it fun. Like a lot of people complain,
make it fun.
Like
that's the important part.
A lot of people are like, they don't bring enough big game modes, which I get they could for sure. Why not? But they don't do a lot of the small things too to make it fun. And they bring a lot of stuff that we've never asked for. Like, what's the quote, Nick? Like, we didn't ask for hockey bag. I forget what the quote is, but we got hockey bags and we never asked for hockey bags, and they suck. Like, nobody ever asked for the thing that we got, and it sucks. And again, this year, because I just downloaded the technical test, we have hockey bags again, which means you're going to unlock stuff for your player at random, and there's still things people will want that they're never going to get, like, at the end of the year, because it's just unlocked at random.
Hockey bags inherently don't make sense to the progression of World of Chell. Like, it doesn't, like, I select, when you go into the game, you select your favorite team, I select the Leafs. I open up the hockey bag, and, like, here's your Montreal Canadiens jersey. I'm like, bro.
Here's your Arizona Coyotes parka, which doesn't exist in real life.
I just sound like an oxymoron.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. It's very dumb. Well, you know what? We have been very negative, but I do want to talk about the cool things that I think were interesting.
And I would like to as well, yeah.
Because I think, to me, it's not like it's a props to EA for the stuff they do. It's a fucking finally. You know what I mean? So, let's get into the first thing. Mixed teams on Hut. That sounds fucking sick. You could have like Sarah Nurse playing with. I mean, the trailer was Sarah Nurse and Trevor Zegras, but like you could have like any woman's female hockey player playing with like the males, which is so sick. Like, because that would never happen in real life.
And they're the same like overalls.
Yeah.
Not like exactly the same, but like.
No, you know what's crazy though? Like, I remember when like people would be like, oh, Sarah Nurse is a 94 and Kucherov's only a 90. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Number one, it's in context to your own league, and second of all, like, you probably don't know how good Sarah Nurse is because you're not like watching.
Here's the other thing too. People will say that, right? And then their Hut team has 4 dead guys on it that are like 97 overall. You know what I mean? Like, you press info and it says birthday and it's like 103 years old. Like, he's born in 1923, 100 years ago. Like, and he's on your Hut team, but then you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. But
like they'll complain about
it's sick.
They'll complain about Brianne Jenner. It's like, who's Brianne Jenner? But they'll go like nuts over Rod Langway on their defensive third pairing.
Exactly. Like, I got Ron Francis on the first line left way. Like, come on, man.
It's dumb.
It's really cool. It is really cool. And the fact that they're the same overalls and you can just mix and match, like, that's so sick. I like that. That is so sick.
Yeah. I know FIFA doesn't. I don't think they mixed men's and women's, but for NHL to do that, it's cool, especially if it's a first.
Dope as fuck, honestly.
It's your ultimate team. Like, you should be able to make it whatever
you
you
want. You should be able to fucking use any players from any era, from any league, any fucking like orientation. That shouldn't really matter. Yeah. But yeah, that I really like that. The atmosphere changes, they look kind of sick. I'm kind of excited for that. Like, they were talking about like when your goalie makes a huge save, the crowd fucking goes crazy. When you're like going on an odd man rush, the crowd goes crazy, which is stuff I didn't understand why they didn't have before. Like, it doesn't seem like the crowd is interacting with the game that they're watching. It's like when I go to a Steelers game and I go on my phone the whole time. So so it's like it's kind of like that, or like when you're like the game isn't interesting, so you're not paying attention. The fans, obviously, it's robotic because it's fucking artificial intelligence. But it'd be kind of cool if like if what they're saying is real time interactions. Because like whenever I like play with my audio settings in the game, I know Matt just turns off everything because he's weirded. But
I do, yeah.
But like I turn up the crowd really high and I turn down the commentary and I turn on like the ice sounds and stuff because I want to like hear the game. Like as much as I love Sabalski, follows me on Twitter. We're homies basically.
Best friends.
Yeah, basically. But like the problem is like he only records so many lines, so you can only hear it so many times. So I usually turn that off. But it's nice. It'd be cool if like if like Darius, me and you are at like a 2-on-0 and the crowd gets fucking
starts
super
going
loud.
ape shit. Yeah, like that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
And like before, like they did a really good job, I think, when they went. I think it was NHL 17 when they reintroduced like real clubs with custom stuff because they took it out for some reason. They did a good job with the crowd and the atmosphere, where it was like the playoff atmosphere and stuff. You're like, this feels real.
Oh
now,
yeah,
like real life.
The fans had towels.
Yeah, the towels, and
they'd have the towels with like the team logo on them
yes.
too, which is pretty cool.
And you could like change the color of them, and it was really cool with the atmosphere. Like if you scored in the last minute, they go ape shit. They go ape shit anyway, which I thought was dope if it was playoffs. So that's really cool. And the fact that now, like, if you make a huge save and at a certain point of the game, like, they'll go crazy. Like, that's awesome because that juices the player up to be like, yo, let's grab the puck and go the other way, right? Like,
yeah.
It's cool. And then if you go on an odd man break the other way and the crowd's still going apeshit, you score and it like explodes, right?
Another cool thing that they added is like if you're like, say you have the puck and we're like playing in someone else's arena, they start booing the shit out of you.
Yeah,
it's like imagine really like cool. Imagine like you're like up 1-0 and like the crowd starts booing you and then you score. Like it'd be pretty sick. Like that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be so cool.
It reminds me, I think there's an old feature in NHL 10 or 11 and you were in Be a Pro, and if you injured somebody and then the next time like you injured their star player, the next time you touch the puck, like the crowd will give it to you. And that was so cool. It's like, yeah, you feel like a heel on the ice.
That'd be so sick.
You're the baddest guy in town right now.
I feel like I'm Trae Young in like Madison Square Garden. I'm like, like they just hate
those
me.
Side talk videos.
Yeah, they just like imagine like I score a hat trick for some reason the crowd just fucking hates me. So every time I get the puck now, they just start booing me. Like that'll feel so sick.
That'd be really cool though too if they were to add that like Be a Pro, where like if you did something specific at TD Garden, let's say, and every time you go back, like for the rest of the season, they boo you, right? That would be cool too. I don't know if they added that, but that'd be
no, they didn't add that.
Yeah, you're right.
What would they? We're thinking outside the box. That's just not what EA does.
I
have a cool idea. Okay, we'll get to it in 10 years.
Another thing they added was what was it? They added new like interactive cup celebrations. I don't think they added that, but that was already in the game, right?
I don't think it's an interactive cup. The way I understood it, I could be wrong.
They said it was customizable.
It's just new animations.
Oh, I read it was customizable. That's what I saw.
What is customizable?
I mean, customizable might just be like you have 5 presets and you pick one, but
which is like, better than just one, right?
But like the one where like the goalie like threw this stuff in the air, like they give it to the goalie third, they give it to like the cap, like obviously captain first, they give it to this defenseman second. Like you always know who's gonna pick it up next.
Yes.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool if you could like control the captain who's holding the cup, like and then you can like hand it to one guy, you walk to the next guy and hand it to another guy.
2K had that in 2K10.
2K10. I remember I won the cup with like the Kings, and then I think I spent 2 hours just skating the cup around, and my parents like, "What are you doing? Get off the Wii!" Like,
you can just pass it.
Yeah, you can skate around. You can
for
pass
hours.
it.
Really cool. You can like pump it different ways. That was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
But like the last two things we've talked about, right? It's exciting, but what like brings me down, and I don't mean to make it another negative, but like they took out the playoffs in EA Sports Hockey League, right? So if it was in, we would be able to experience like the home crowd advantage and stuff like that in the playoffs, which we won't feel now. They have to think about that. Like you got to add that shit back in because it makes a huge difference. And like the cup celebration, there's never ever been a cup celebration, I don't know, like cutscene for EA Sports Hockey League. And there should be.
There's only the banner raising ceremony.
But now there's no.
They got rid of that too, though.
There's no need to have a cup raising because like the top 35%, they all get a banner. You know what I mean?
I know, but that's what I mean. Like, change that to like you have to win 4 games, you have to win 4 rounds, or else you are.
Didn't they have that before?
They had that before. Bring it back. That's the one thing. Just bring it back, and I won't complain. Just that.
That
one
sounds
thing.
like a great idea, but you know what? We're gonna have to do 2 week playoffs.
That's
2 week playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that single elimination thing is pretty innovative. I don't know if they've ever done it before. Well, the other stuff they added, I'm just looking at the notes we have here. We talked about that.
There's multiple covers.
Yes. I like the one where like you see the one where they're actually like in an arena.
Yeah, I think so. That's the last gen one.
Yeah,
that's like PS4
and
Xbox One.
That one's I like that one.
That one's the nicest one. Yeah.
That one's much better. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's good.
And then the X Factor one. Sorry to cut you off, but the X Factor one is the one that I had on the screen last episode, the one that they were showcasing last week, and then there's another one where they're just kind of like standing outside, and that's like the basic cover.
Again, I'm not gonna get into the cover because like for some reason people get very mad at me when I talk about it. But you know, let's get into today's trailer. So that was kind of last week's trailer. I feel like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to talk about first, because I think this will be very broken. Is the desperation animation of the last chance plays. Where like if you're falling down, you can like I think you double tap the stick or something or the button, and then he can shoot it while he's falling or pass it while he's falling, or you can like get a poke check while you're falling.
Can I start?
So, like, yeah, man, go ahead.
So the guy in the trailer says you double tap up to initiate this animation, like to fall and shoot, right? How many people do you know that spam that button?
Like
everyone?
Off a one-timer?
Yeah. Everyone? So not everyone.
Bro, oh my god! Imagine you're like trying to get a one-timer, and your guy just like jumps on the ground and tries to like try to like flick it in. I think the thing is though, I think it only functions if you're like falling over, right? Like it wouldn't like if you're just like a guy on a like a
you wouldn't be on a one-timer and it would initiate that. I don't think that would happen.
It'd be so funny if it like made you like jump and try and like swat the puck in. That'd be kind of funny.
But it showed in the trailer, and it looks really good in the trailer because they're using clips specific for the trailer. But it showed that if you have any type of contact, whether you're on the offensive side or defensive side, it'll activate if you like double tap or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also the Sarah Nurse X Factor, which I think gives you like a boost. I'm not too sure if that like
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's like accuracy, like shot accuracy, or if it just gives you a better chance of making contact with the puck.
It might be just making contact, yeah.
There was the one clip in the trailer where Ovi gets bumped like inside the blue line, gets bumped, last chance shot, rifles it over. It might have been Lehner's shoulder. I don't know who the Vegas goalie was, but it's like that's ridiculous.
That
like,
one I'm okay with.
Ovi's good, but is he that good where, you know, he's off balance and he rifles it top right? Like,
he's done it before. They emulated a real goal of his. He scored like that against the Rangers in the playoffs one year. It's the exact same goal. So I think in that case, it's fine. And I can show you guys a goal after, and I can link to it in the description. So in that case, it's fine. But then, like, I think it was like Connor Sheary, maybe? And he got bumped by somebody much bigger, and he got the shot off. And I'm like, this is a problem.
One thing that I hope it will do though is kind of balance the difference between like when you're like a 6 foot guy versus like a 6'6" guy. Because I feel like when I'm like 6 feet tall, like I know the guy's like way taller than me, but I also feel like I get knocked off the puck too easy and I can't make a play. So it's gonna be good. Like say like especially if you just get in the zone and the guy's about to like run you over as you're falling, you can still like get it in the zone instead of like just dying and the puck just like dying at the blue line. I feel like that happens way too much. So to me, I feel like there's also gonna be times where like I like play a guy in the ISO on defense so well. Like I keep him to the outside, I do everything well, and I knock him over, and then he just fucking scores. And like I'm gonna close the game and delete it.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm worried that might happen.
I think like it's a good thing because like you said, like if you're 6 feet tall or whatever, like you have at least a chance now, right? Like before it would just be shut down if the guy's taller than you. So at least you have a chance now. But I think there's potential for this to be like stupid. Like just absolutely broken. And like they showed in the trailer, like whether you're on offense or defense, if you double tap or whatever, you could both like it could turn into a WWE ladder match where you're both like diving at each other and it could get really messy. I think it could get really messy and stuck in animations.
I like the defensive last chance because if you're on the penalty kill, and you're going into the corner and some guy knocks you off balance, you still have a chance to be able to get the puck out, as in 22. If a guy hits you in the corner, you can't really do anything because you'll just take the puck and then keep it in the zone. So
Exactly.
it's nice. It's nice when they introduce new things that provide benefits for both sides and not just one side, unless it's like the defensive skill stick, which was absolutely needed.
Right.
I think one thing they're trying to do is like lower the metas that people do every year. Like with like, you know, when you're like defensive skill stick and you're coming back like defensively.
Oh,
you
the
could just
speed
like
boost.
you could, or
Yeah.
yeah, or you could just like hold R1 and just like keep moving your stick back and forth like a helicopter, so they can't do anything. So it's smart that they made it like you actually have to like be skillful with it and like choose when to extend your stick or like when to poke check, because it's a little bit slower now. And they also like, but in addition to that, they also made it easier to intercept pucks when you play it right. So I feel like in that way they did balance it properly. And they also what I like that they also did is if your stick is like you're on offense and your stick is extended and you can place the puck behind the defender doesn't like warp to it and like pick it up like they would in past games.
Right.
Like if you time your pass correctly, it'll actually get through. I don't know how it's gonna work when you're playing like the computer, because those guys are like their IQ is like 350, so they know how to pick off every single pass. So that's gonna be fun. But I think based on the first gameplay trailer, shit didn't look good because I think a lot of it was focused on their half-ass crossplay. But when I look at today's gameplay trailer, it makes me more excited because to me it feels like they're trying to emulate more stuff that actually happens inside the NHL.
Yes.
See, I preferred the second trailer to the first, because the first trailer, the reveal trailer, everything was so sped up. It's like, here's one thing, here's another thing, here's the last thing, we're done. But in the gameplay trailer, they sort of broke everything down and explained the new features, and it just made everything more easier to digest.
I agree with you.
I think it's a positive ad, especially with the last, what are they calling it? The last chance puck movement?
Desperation, last chance
something.
One thing I do want to say though, not to cut you off, is
Yeah, no,
like
go ahead.
they did you guys see like the goalies clip where like he like slid one way
Let's
and,
get-
like,
we'll
he
get-
slid another way?
we'll get
That,
to-
that's
can we
fucking
focus- yeah,
crazy. That's crazy.
I want to like touch on goalies and like defense as a whole like right after this, but I think like with the last chance thing, it's overall I think positive addition, but I think it has potential to be really broken. And I feel like EA, especially NHL, they have like 1 year that's like, here's all this new shit, but it's really broken, and then like the next year they're like, all that shit is fixed, and here's like 2 new things. And I feel like they keep going like that.
It just keeps piling on.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I wonder if like when like Madden, FIFA, and 2K games release, like when they release new animations and new features, if like fans are like, yo, this is probably gonna be super OP or like broken, like
100%. I have a friend who streams Madden, 100%. They have the same conversations every year. Did you see what Madden 22 was rated?
No.
A 0.4 out of 10 last year.
Whoa, it was that bad?
Yeah, a 0.4. So, and this year I think is like maybe 2 out of 10, because they fixed things from last year, but then people started to realize like, wait a minute, this game is just, you fixed the other one. Like you didn't add anything new, right? So they talk about the same shit, really. It's the same thing.
It seems like no sports fans are ever satisfied with their games. But
no, and they never will be, but I think if you can take like certain positives out of certain things, that's good. But I think if you can, we also have to recognize that like let's not be played, right? Like they add new shit and then they're like it's fantastic, and yeah.
I think inherently though, this is like kind of getting off like NHL itself, but I just want to say like inherently though, like sports games can't actually improve that much year to year in terms of gameplay, because like hockey has been the same sport for like in terms of like skill level for like the past 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously, and you have like the dead puck eras or like different ways of playing or different rules that were added. Like hockey inherently is the same game. Football inherently is the same game. Soccer inherently is the same game. Basketball inherently same game, right? Like they can't remake how hockey's played, because that's just not what happens. But what they can do is fix the little things that make it feel more fluid and realistic. But that's the problem it seems like with game developers have, because they're too focused on this new shiny thing instead of the fans. The fans don't care about the new shit. They just want the old shit to be fixed.
In a way, you're right, yeah. And you make a really good point. But I think, like, if you look at UFC, for example, they do UFC 2, 3, and 4. And they release them, like, I think 2 or 3 years apart, right? So the way I was thinking about this actually yesterday is like, if you took NHL 20 to like 23, and those didn't exist, and we went from NHL 19 to 23 with everything they've added the last 3 years, you'd be like, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And if it played like 23, you'd be like, this is dope. Here's my $120, right? And you'd be satisfied, I think. Even if it was like every 2 years, I think you'd still be satisfied because they would add enough. But another thing, and I think that we'll get into it, in the trailer that dropped today, they're like, we added 2 new strategies. Now, that's fantastic because the power play needed help. But to say in a trailer, we added 2 new strategies sounds kind of pathetic. Like 2? That's it? Like, there's a lot of strategies in hockey, right? So
Yeah, just give us like creative play back. I loved creative play in NHL 11 because you could like do things the way you wanted to and not just have to, rely on the AI to know where you want them to go.
I really hope that one of the coolest things that I saw was setting up the face-offs and setting up power play rules. If like we can not in ESHL, I feel like it'd be someone like off the power play, like I could have like like the wingers flip sides, right? Or like you could give like, for example, because like I feel like I'm more of like a passer, so you could be like I could have like the distributor role, or like someone could have the shooter role. So I think that's really cool. But I don't know if they'll be able to like implement the distributor roles in ESHL because like it's all human controlled.
You'll just have to know. Yeah. But as long as like if you're playing with computers, that'd be really helpful, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're playing with
But
CPU.
I just hope I can set up the face off where like I can have like the wingers on opposite ends, or like if I want to be on this, or like if we're setting up for like a really quick one timer, I don't have to set the face off on aggressive, so the defenseman's taking the one timer off the drop. Like we can have a winger there that sets up for it. Like you remember like the Tyler Toffoli goal against Boston,
Yes.
like so long ago with like 1 second left. Like why do I have to have like if it's like Matt's build who has like a piss poor slap shot? Why can't like I can have someone that has a good shot that they designed their player to score goals there?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
if you wish, you should be able to have your right defenseman take the face off and everyone else be wherever you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like you should be able to do that. So 100%. I hope you can add that in. And I think like I've been playing EA Sports Hockey League with Matt since NHL 11 or something, like maybe even before that.
11. Yeah.
And they used to have like you can set your strategies. It used to be offline, but if they brought it online, like if we can make strategies where there was like lines, like you skate here, like make it really simple for everyone.
Yes.
Like we can make some dope plays, and I think like why not add that with what they're adding here?
It's insane because that's literally like what Madden is.
Yeah.
There's like a million plays that you just like imagine like the game recognizes, oh, if there's 30 seconds left and you're down by 1, here's the plays you have set for that. Then you can just click that, and then everyone knows, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah, or you can make your own. Like the captain or anyone really can just be like, okay, we're doing whatever the play name is and select it, and it would show up on the screen. This is where everyone goes, and you make your play. There's none of that. Like you can have it in your head or whatever, but there's none of that right now. So
it's a lot easier to tell someone to go somewhere than to like show them visually. I feel like.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's also nice for that visual aid because I know we have a lot of creative players on our World of Chill team. So if we could kind of, let's say they draw something up, that way we can get a visual aid of what exactly they're trying to tell us to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And instead of telling us what to do, because I'm a visual learner. So if you show me what to do, then that makes it easier for me to understand and communicate and probably have something happen.
Yeah, if I could see an arrow that goes from behind the net to the front, and I'm like, that's where I'm supposed to go. Like that's a lot easier than somebody telling you go from behind the net and curl in front. Like that can mean a lot.
Because it's like sometimes like we had one play where like I was like mad after the face off, just like take a slap shot and just like get it to me, right? And like it worked perfectly. But like
it's somehow worked. I don't know how it did.
It literally worked to perfection. But like imagine Matt could see like the arrow of like my player like going upwards, and he could see like, oh, the puck's coming back here, and then like that's gonna happen, right? That'd be. I mean, that's pretty like easy play to remember. Like you know what I mean? Something like that. Or like imagine like there's so many plays where like when there's 10 seconds left in the game and like we're down by 1, and we only have like 30 seconds to talk about a play. Everyone's like arguing. At least you could be like, no, fuck you guys. We're doing this. Just do what it says on the screen.
Yeah,
right?
Because we have it preset and it works, right? Like,
exactly.
That would be perfect. I think even breakouts, like if you started behind your net and then you had a play where you're coming up and you had arrows and it was like the wingers switch or something, and you do something like there's a lot they could do.
Like how in 2K, whenever you set a play and there's the arrow and then there's sort of that black circle where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
That would make things infinitely easier.
Yes.
Yes. Like when it says like pick and roll, like it says like roll above your head, so to roll off of that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Defensively, I don't really have much to say about that. I feel like we kind of touched on it with like the skill stick and the desperation plays. Goalies though, in that one clip they showed, look like they're on crack. Yeah. Holy crap, man! You see that shit? They slid one way, like halfway. They sit back. They should recognize.
I find that goalies in 22 are like on drugs. Like they're not even trying. You know what I mean? For the most part,
give me the NHL 12 goalies.
Yeah, so, like let me bury them.
Yeah. It's so funny when you're playing like 22 ASHL. Like you'll have like what is it, Lehman and Lockhart? I don't remember the goalie name.
Yes, yeah.
Lehman was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But
no, it's another guy because he always robs me. I say his name. I can't remember. Yeah, it's Lehman and someone else. I can't remember.
But like you'll have one game where like Lehman lets him like 6 goals on 8 shots, and then like he'll be on your team. And next game you'll play him and he'll make like 35 saves. You're like, yo, what the fuck is going on, bro?
Yeah.
It's so
He's
funny.
An op.
It's so funny.
I think like as you said with the new animations and stuff, and the fact that he can go one way and come back the other and make a glove save, that's huge. And I think that's gonna make for like fun gameplay and fun games.
Yeah, because like it feels like the goalies are sometimes stupid. Where like if you're like skating up the left side and you're like stick handle to the left and hold it there, the goalie just like, oh, he's gonna shoot it, so I'm gonna cheat all the way to one side.
Exactly.
Like now hopefully like the AI will be smart enough to be like, nah, he's probably gonna pass it, so maybe I'll cheat a little bit to one end. So that'd be cool. It feels like sometimes on computer goalies some goals are gimmies, so I want like more of a surprise. And I also want it to be like a little bit easier sometimes to like pull the trigger on them. Like sometimes I feel like there's like sometimes where like Darius, you have a shot like in the high slot that's wide open and you just like easy glove save.
Yeah.
You know, where like it should like a lot of the times it should be a goal, especially like based on like your sniper build whose like shot is on crack cocaine. So like that'll be good. But anything else from the trailer that you guys want to touch on?
Matt?
No, I think it was something like just to touch back on the goalies. Reading here from the article, it says AI goalies will now play more like a human player than ever before. Not too sure how true that is. With the addition of 300 new save animations that were previously unavailable to AI players. It just makes me wonder, like, I played almost 200 games of goalie, and then combining with last year, so that would be almost like 450 games of goalie. I highly doubt there are more than like 300 save animations.
300
like
is a lot.
Yeah, like that's a lot. Like, and it must be just like small tweaks too, because I have no idea like how many save animations are in the game. Because like on one timers on a 2-on-1, it just gives me the same save animation. So for 299 more save animations, that kind of makes me doubt it. But at the same time, making the AI more aware has me cautiously optimistic.
Now, can you read that whatever that article said again?
Just like the AI goalie part?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, just the AI goalie part.
I'll even go one sentence before. On top of updates to X Factor AI, artificial intelligence, goaltending and teammate awareness has been an area of focus for NHL 23. Now, I feel like, aside from X Factor, you could take out 23 and insert probably the previous 11 years, and that's been a main area of focus for the NHL team.
Yes.
So yeah, AI goalies will now play more like a human player than ever before. Keyword ever before, with the addition of 300 new save animations that were previously unavailable. This added level of skill should keep AI goalies more authentic than in previous years.
That part at the end that I put my hands up, they're not adding 300 new save animations.
They've been there before.
And you can use them as a human goalie when you play goalie, but they were not available to AI goalies. So all they did was open them up to AI goalies to use now. There's not new animations. This is what I'm talking about when they twist the words. But
yeah.
But when it comes to new animations, I got one for you here. AI skaters now gesture to indicate when a player's open.
Oh, that one, right? Where they put their stick up?
And which player's most likely to score. It's cool, but hockey's a fast game. What happens if I see that guy that's open,
And his stick is up.
and his stick is up. It's pretty much like Casper the Ghost. His stick lifted him, and that pass is going right through, and now it's gone down for icing. So it's a cool feature. The part that I like more is when a player raises his stick to go off for a change.
Oh my God.
How many times in
my
online
God.
versus have you tried to pass to somebody on a breakout
These
and they
changes-
just gone? He
Oh
just
my
goes
God,
off for a
bro,
change.
Bro, this happened to me like 2 days ago. I was playing a guy. I was up like 2-0, right? And he scored one goal. I was like, all right, that's like there's like 30 seconds left. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to clear it up the right side. The whole team changes. 4 out of the 5 guys get off the ice, and I lose it. Of course, the guy fucking scores his 4-on-1. Bro, I lost my fucking mind. Oh my God,
That is a great change that they made.
It happens so often.
Yeah,
That
I
is
like
a great change. Yeah.
I like that one more opposed to like the pointing your stick to let you know which player's open, because if you play on a camera such as overhead, you know who's open. But if you play on what is
Action?
that, action, stupid camera by the way, if you play on action, that might help you a little more, because you know, tunnel vision.
Yeah.
They added
man.
that feature for 2 guys on our team. Yeah.
Man.
No,
man. You guys are setting subliminals, bro.
Yeah, I
Y'all
hope
crazy.
they just don't lift their sticks to like point at the open guy every play. Like I don't think you need that every play, but if he's wide open, then yeah, I think that's fine. But like if you're doing that every play, that's gonna get annoying by
I think
November.
in the clip it was like there was like 3 players on the team holding up their stick and pointing at the other guy. I'm like, you don't all need to do that.
Hey
You know
guy,
what I mean?
guy in front of me, look, that guy's open over there. Like it, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even see you. Why
I'm
you
sure
pointing?
the goalie was even pointing at him too. So.
No, but I think the line change one, like that's huge. Big change.
That's
awesome.
primo. It's the pass suggestion one that I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also said that passing is a lot easier this year. Like you don't need a trait to make a pass.
They fixed the pass assist, because like if you had your pass assist too high, it would just send it to like it would like try too hard to get it to an open player. Whereas like if you lowered it, you wouldn't be able to make the pass because like it was so ass. So like, you know, it's good they fixed that. I'll see how it actually plays out, because I feel like in the beta the passing's always bad no matter what. You can never find someone. But I kind of want to put a ball on this, because I feel like, you know, we talked about this for almost 40 minutes here. So
For sure. Yeah.
I feel like, you know, we aired out our grievances, but also I do think there's some certain stuff that I'm looking, like the strategies. If it's gonna function, like I think it will, which it probably won't. It'll be good. It'll be good
There's a lot of potential.
for sure.
But there's potential every year. So we'll see how they execute this one.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into, you know, as we do, our last question of the day. Last year was, what's your favorite Gatorade flavor? This year, who do you think is gonna have their breakout NHL season in the league?
Let's go with Darius. Darius, you go first.
I have 2. But my first one is going to be Timothy Liljegren of the Leafs.
Okay.
I think he played like from probably January even into the playoffs. I don't know why they even took him out, maybe experience, but anyway. I thought he played amazing. Like he looked right at home, especially when they got Giordano. Like they looked really good together. And he looks like he's coming into his own physically. He's making pretty good decisions. He's still young, you can see it. So I think he's going to have a huge breakout year, and he's going to prove that he can play like top 4 next year, or even he might even play this year. And my honorable mention would be like Trevor Zegras. I think he can be like a 30-goal guy. I think he's going to really break out, especially with the cover and everything out. Like I think he's like, I hope he can get to superstar status. I think he can get there. So I think this year is a big breakout year for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for my breakout for this year, I'm going to go with Matt Boldy from the Minnesota Wild.
That's a good pick.
Despite losing Kevin Fiala, I think he's going to have a fantastic season this year. On the Daily Faceoff, take this with a grain of salt, but it lists them as the third left wing on the team below Kaprizov and Marcus Foligno. But I think by season's end, Boldy will surpass Foligno and eventually permanently instill himself in the top 6 with guys like Joel Eriksson Ek and Jordan Greenway.
All right, yeah. So I have my first one is going to be Tim Stützle of the Ottawa Senators. He had 60 points last year. You could call that a breakout season, but I think this is the season where like he has like a point per game season. He feeds on the power play even more because there's top six is more stacked now. He's gonna be really good, and I'm also just a big fan of what he plays. My second one, I don't know if you could call this a breakout, but Quinton Byfield. I'm really cheering for him. I think if he's healthy and like actually gets ice, because the Kings are gonna be good. So he'll be really solid. I was a big fan of his game in junior just because he's like a 6'5" frame that has the skill level of a guy that's like 6 feet tall. So like he's fucking sick. But yeah, so mine will be Tim Stützle because like it seems like the pieces are in place for him, and Quinton Byfield because I think like I'm hoping he'll put together like a nice healthy season and that'll be good for him.
I think. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, who would be on Stützle's wings? Would it be like DeBrincat and Giroux?
Yeah, like or you could have like Brady Tkachuk and.
Okay.
Yes, like someone like that, right? So
I would say
that
like
all
probably DeBrincat, like, and that's
you
got a 40 goal scorer on your wing, like that's nice.
Exactly. So like I think he's a good one.
Sets up nicely for Stützle.
Ottawa's a really good young team now.
They're gonna have a great year.
They're gonna surprise a lot. I think
they have no defenseman though. They have no defenseman though.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. The regular season in hockey's changed a lot. Like I think they make the playoffs. Could be a wild card.
I think it could squeak in.
Yeah,
for sure. And then I just want to toss in Nico Hischier's name because I'm a big fan of his, and he hasn't had his advanced stats are always good. He's great in transition, great defensively, but he hasn't really put together the point totals that like when you go on there. Actually, no one goes on the NHL website to check stats, but I mean like if you go on like the scorer or something to check the league leaders, he's not really at the top there. But I think they added Andre Palat, they re-signed Jesper Bratt. They're all going to be better this season. And Doug Hamilton, if he plays a full season, that's another guy for them to help on the power play. Although he's probably on the second unit considering how stacked they are. But yeah, Nico Hischier also look to him. He's gonna be solid as well. I'm a big fan of
that's another team too that's I think busting to like have a breakout finally. Because they have a lot of good pieces, but they just haven't put it together. So yeah. I think the Devils this year, hopefully they can like do something.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, other than that, I'll wrap it up here. Follow us on the socials. The TikTok's been, very friendly to me lately. So follow us there.
Yeah, you guys are awesome on TikTok. You guys are the best.
Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Follow our Twitters. Give us 5 stars on Spotify if you liked it. But don't lie to Spotify. Give us some real feedback because we're trying to improve.
Yeah, don't lie to us too.
Yeah. Once again, shout out to Matt for buying the premium Zoom account. That's our boy.
And I'd like to give a thanks to a friend of the show, Tim.
He's been
giving us great feedback.
Yeah. Tim's a pretty nice guy. So yeah, shout out to Matt, buy the premium Zoom account. Shout out Darius for producing, recording, editing, most of the podcast or all of it. Also him for doing the TikToks, and shout out to me for uploading these TikToks because it's a hard job for your boy.
Yes.
And then also shout out to me for not doing much else. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Next episode we're gonna be here talking about the beta. If I still haven't got my code, so I checked my email again. So guess what's going.
I think my download is done.
Guess what's going to the EA Help website after we're done recording this. So yeah, thank you all for enjoying. If you're watching this or in the day, have a good day. Watching this at night, have a good night. If you're watching this in the car, drive safe. With that being said, we'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
Thanks for watching and listening to the Gritcast. For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.